We're going to solve a mystery on today's episode of Terrific Non-TV Toys. Who is Tuesday Taylor and who is Tiffany Taylor? Maybe you've never heard this question before, but if you're a kid of the 70s, you may recall that there were Tiffany Taylor dolls back then and Tuesday Taylor dolls back then, and they were made by the Ideal Toy Corporation. They were made as competitors to the wildly popular Barbie doll. And as you can see, this doll is the same size as a Barbie doll, like 11.5 inches high. This is my doll from childhood. I've really been looking forward to showing this one because I loved her. I always thought she was so pretty. Look at that face. Look at that hair. That probably needs a lot of work to restore it. But trust me, I vividly remember when I was a kid back then how luscious and beautiful and silky and curly this hair was. It was amazing hair. And you can see the remnants of that as you look at the ratty mess that it has unfortunately become in storage at my house. But I tried to comb it through a little bit. It needs a lot more and more time than I can spend on it. But you can see how it went. It was kind of like straight at the head and then just lots of really soft curls. Just beautiful hair. Now, is this a Tuesday Taylor or is this a Tiffany Taylor? Well, I could tell you definitively because I have the ultimate source here. This is one of the accessories that came with her. And if you look at the plastic, Tuesday Taylor. So I could tell you absolutely that this is a Tuesday Taylor doll. Now the reason I'm making fun of it a little bit is I did a search because I was trying to remember myself. I was remembering the dolls whose hair changed color. Like you twist the top of their head and they went from blonde to brunette. And I remember that vividly because I had friends who had that doll or versions of that doll. And I'm like, that was Tuesday Taylor too, right? Or was that Tiffany Taylor? Why am I remembering both names? And so I did a search online and I found conflicting sources. People, do not believe the internet, okay? Just don't believe the internet. There is so much misinformation out there. I saw eBay listings, for one thing, that had a doll for sale, like a color-changing, a hair color-changing doll, and referred to the doll as both Tuesday and Tiffany in the same paragraph, talking about the same doll. And then I went to one other particular source that was supposed to be explaining what this was. This was a source that was like part of Google or something. And again, in the same paragraph, referred to the doll as Tuesday and Tiffany as if it was the same doll. So yeah, I finally found a good source, and this is what I recommend. There's a gal named Beth Ellen Colvin who has a site called ChrissyandBeth.com, and that's Chrissy, ChrissyandBeth.com. Chrissy is another doll by Ideal. So this site isn't even about Tuesday or Tiffany Taylor, but it is the only source I found online that actually has good information. So go there to ChrissyandBeth.com/Tiffany.html, and you will see the whole history of Tiffany Taylor. Now, just to clarify, this is how I think it went. There was a Tuesday Taylor doll whose hair changed color, and there was a later Tuesday Taylor doll that you see here, because this one, by the way, is dated 1978. I'll try to get that in there if I can. Ooh, it's going to be tough, but take my word for it. There's an imprint, Ideal, a copyright, and Ideal logo right there, 1978. And the sources I found online for her, like the box, for one thing, a photo of the box, which you can kind of rely on, said 1978. Okay, so back to ChrissyandBeth.com, the historical page about the doll Tiffany Taylor explains that she was the 19-inch version, okay? So they had like a Barbie size version, 11.5 inches. Then they had a 19-inch version. And so what I'm gathering for all of that, if you look at that page, it's like a mile long with just amazing photos of this doll and her fashions, stuff you will not see anywhere else. And it has a really good history. I did not read all the way through it, but what I got from it is Tiffany is the 19-inch version, and Tuesday is the 11.5-inch version. And I did search various points online for photos of these dolls, and especially in the box. And I'm going to show those photos at the end of this episode to help clarify who was Tiffany and who was Tuesday. And I'm also going to use these non-internet sources. I am not against the internet by any means, but oh my gosh, the misinformation. So I'm going to show you like an old-fashioned source of information. This is called a book. And this particular book is 6th edition of Doll Values, Antique to Modern by Patsy Moyer. I've got 2 of them here. I've got one by Patsy Moyer and one that has Patricia Smith's name on it. We're going to look at both of them. So just to help solidify what we're believing is the clarification between Tiffany Taylor and Tuesday Taylor, this guide, Patsy Moyer's guide, has both dolls listed. Tiffany Taylor, all vinyl, rooted hair, top of head, turns to change color, painted eyes, teenage body, high-heeled, extra outfits available, 19 inches, okay? And she came in a white and a black version. I love that. So, and the black version is more valuable, a little harder to find. So the price range or the value range back then, this book is like 2002. Okay, so it's not ancient. The other one is older. This is 2002, and she was valued 20 and 25 for white and black, 75 and 85 more mint and box. Okay, Tuesday Taylor, 1976 to 1977. So Tiffany was 74 to 76. Tuesday, 76 to 77, vinyl, posable body, turn head to change color of hair, clothing tagged ideal, Tuesday Taylor, 11.5 inches, $20 value or up to 55, mint in box, okay? So that's what this book is telling us. That does not account for this gal. This is a little bit different version I'll get into in a moment. This is not the head turning, hair color changing version, which I did want as a kid. I thought that was so cool. Like I said, I had friends who had those dolls. Okay, this one does not have Tuesday. It has Tiffany Taylor in it. So, Tiffany Taylor, top of head swivels to change hair color. 18 inches they peg that at. So it's either 18 or 19 you would consider it. And let me see, white version 80 and 35, black version $95 more mint in box and $50 value. And that was this book. Oh my gosh. 1990. So that was a while ago. So I'm believing those sources. Back to my beautiful Tuesday Taylor doll, okay? She was what they called a supermodel version, and I'll show her in the box in those photos that I'll show at the end of the episode. And she was designed to walk. Now look at the beautiful, like sash, I guess you'd call it, with the fringe that matches her accessory here, her walking accessory, the hot pink. I love that. She's in fairly good condition. She was 1978, so I got her a little later than some of my other dolls, and I might not have gotten her in 78. It might have been more like 79 or 80, who knows? So she's in fairly good shape, and she's complete. I believe this is complete based on what I saw online. So we're going to put her sash on her. Let her have her accessory. And then we're going to take her on a walk. Now, I was trying this out before I shot the episode, and I'll show this gizmo a little closer. You can see that it's got a place for her spike of her heel, which, by the way, these are rockin' shoes, okay? I just digress all the time. I'm explaining this stuff in these episodes, but these were like one of my favorite pair of Barbie type shoes when I was a kid. Look at those shoes. Those are just rockin'. Mules, they call them. And they're kind of like Candy's shoes, which I loved back in the 70s and 80s and even 90s. And there is a whole other episode about my Darcy doll that goes into the Candy's shoes. And these definitely remind me of them. So back to the stand. We're going to put her... I was trying to do like the clips inside the pant legs, and it was extremely difficult to try to line all that up. So I'm just going to place the clips outside the pant legs. But what you need to do is put the spiky heel there. Okay, on each side. There's a place for it on each side. And then we're going to put the clip in place on each side. One is slightly lower than the other. One clips on a thigh, and then one clips more on the back of the knee. Okay, so she's basically in there. She's articulated on her wrist, by the way. That was something a Barbie did not have back then. The style of Barbie doll that was out. Okay, so let's see. Can she walk? How are we going to point her? This is a little awkward, but look at that. She's moving. She's walking along. Her hips are swiveling a little bit. Okay. So there you go. The Walking Tuesday Tailor Supermodel edition. Very cute. Simple and still intact many, many years later. I'm going to take her off again, and we'll do a little detail on her. I think they call this a halter top. I've talked about it in other doll episodes. What is a halter top? That's another mystery that you can solve. Snap is still in place there, and the back is just really simple. She is in pretty good shape. I could have cleaned up her clothing a little bit. I could have tried to do her hair. Who knows how long that would have taken. I'm not an expert at it. It might not have turned out very good. But I will note that unlike a lot of other dolls that I had back then, which you see in other episodes of this series and the companion series, Terrific TV Toys, she does not have the melt in the joints, which is nice. She is in good shape that way. I'm trying to see the imprint on her butt, pardon me. It does say there. Let me see. Whoa! This was a really good episode until then. Let's see. I can't read it. I do see an Ideal logo on her butt. See, I was trying to look at the back of her back to see if there was some kind of imprint, but it is on her butt, and it's Ideal and probably copyright and all of that I can't really make out. So yeah, and even you can see the sinking of her limbs moving with that too, without even the stand. So yeah, she doesn't have the melt. Her outfit is still okay, not torn or anything. So in pretty good shape, with her beautiful blue eyes. All right, I love it. I love it. Tuesday Tailor, thank you for joining me again on this trip back through time. This is almost all of the vintage dolls that I have from my childhood. There's probably, oh gosh, one set, Dollakins, spoiler alert, if you've ever heard of something called a Dollakin, that I will show in a future episode. And then I do have a Blythe doll. It is really in terrible condition. It was one of my very first dolls, and I would like to show that in a future episode too. But that might just round out my vintage dolls from childhood. I think I've shown them all on these series, on the 2 different collectibles series of BRBTV. So it's a lot, and I love them all dearly, and I am so glad I kept them over the years. So stay tuned for those other episodes, and thanks once again for joining me. And here are those photos. We'll see you next time. But wait, there's more. I want to make just one more note for those of you out there who are detail oriented like I am. I neglected to show you all the articulation that she has, because I was just now noticing as I was taking another look at her. Her elbows, it's more like a bendy thing. It's not jointed or anything, but there's a bendy thing going on with her elbows. And then her knees, well, I won't roll up her bell-bottom pant legs, but those are jointed, so you can hear it and see it here. So that's a little bit more of articulation. And another look at how she moves when she's walking, just to cap it off. There's the full effect. You can hear a little snapping too. So there she is, just a little bit more on her. Thanks for watching.